The first regional event for the 2022-2023 season in North America just wrapped up, the North America Fall Open. And let me tell you, it was a barn burner the whole way through. Lots of great talent in this region, very, very deep region, as it always has been. I'm not going to stand for any slander here, but it's safe to say that things are shaking up in North America quite a bit. We're going to take a look at Swiss first. The 8 teams that made it through were G2, Space Station, Gen.G, Faceland, Shopify, Version 1, Furia, and Optic. Energy, Complexity, Knights, Axel, Dignitas, Soul, and Luminosity, and Rogue are then the teams that got eliminated. Energy just barely missing the cut, losing to Furia in round 5. Complexity getting reverse swept by Optic Gaming in round 5. And then Knights got the short end of the stick and had to play version 1. Overall, biggest surprise for me was Shopify definitely making the top 8, going 3-1. Maybe seeing them as a 3-2 was a potential, but Shopify looked really great with 2-piece, Parth, and Memory working all together as a unit. Overall, I'm not super surprised from Swiss. I am a little bit sad about Complexity not making it. Obviously, you know, big Sosa fan here, so Knights making it to round 5 broke my heart a little bit. But out of the top 8 that made it, all 8 definitely deserved to be there. Lots of great competitive matches happened. G2, Space Station looking very dominant. Only dropped 1 game for G2 respectively, and Space Station only dropped 2, 1 to Furia and 1 to Shopify. Gen.G really hit their stride in the latter rounds of Swiss, sweeping Dignitas and NRG to advance into the playoffs. And the first day of playoffs and the top 8, first round was Gen.G versus Version 1. I was just talking about Gen.G. They put the clamps on V1. V1 only scored 4 goals. Gen.G scored 13. The whole team of Gen.G looked absolutely clinical. Apparently Jack, the main catalyst there for both the offense and the defense, they're looking dangerous. SSG versus Optic, it was looking like an SSG sweep, but Optic comes back with a little cheeky OT win in game 4. But SSG started this series off hot by stealing game 1. I was looking like Optic was going to take that one, but a 0-second goal from Daniel and an OT win. SSG started controlling the momentum and then ultimately took down Optic 4-1. Up next, we had Faceland versus Shopify. This one really put Faze to the test. Shopify looked a little inconsistent at times. However, Faze did lose 2 games to them. Faze pulls out the series 4-2. However, shows that Faze does have some kinks in the armor, giving up 4 goals in game 1 and 5 goals in game 4 to Shopify. However, they did shut out Shopify in 3 out of their 4 wins. Final match for day 2 was G2 versus Furia, and in classic fashion, G2 and Furia take it to Neo Tokyo after G2 went up 3-0. Looked like Furia was clawing their way back in their debut NA tournament. However, G2 does take them down as they typically do on Neo Tokyo 4-2, sending Card, Kaio, and Yanks home. G2 advanced to the semifinals to face Faze Clan. Furia in their debut tournament in NA take a top 8 just like Complexity did last time. I expect Furia to continue to grow. Drawing G2 as a first round matchup, definitely brutal for them. And then jumping over to day 3, we start off with Gen.G versus Space Station, which was setting up to be a battle. And it really just wasn't. LJ was super quiet in this series. Gen.G shut him and SSG down. SSG was the last remaining undefeated team in all of North America across all the qualifiers and stuff like that. But Gen.G takes them down 4-1 in a very commanding way. It really did not look close very often in this series, and Gen.G in their first tournament together advanced to the grand final. The second semifinal for this day was Faze versus G2, which is turning into an instant classic in North America. And this time around, Faze definitely got the better of G2. Like bad, real bad. First killer was unstoppable. He looked like RLCS Winter Rogue first killer. Look at the score on this one. Over a 1.5 rating across a whole series. That's absolutely crazy, especially against a team like G2 in the semi-final of a tournament. You only see a real individual scoreline performance like that in international competition where it's typically the North America or European 1 seed against a SAM 2 or maybe even the APAC teams, but First Killer did that against G2, a 4-1 series win in which Game 4 was just kind of a wash for them. They just kind of let it happen and then took back the reins in Game 5 and head to the Grand Final to face Gen.G. And going into this Grand Final, Faze versus Gen.G, both coming off 4-1 wins, looking really solid. It wasn't even a contest in the Grand Final, if I'm being honest with you. Did not feel close. Again, it's Faze on top, just like they did in the first regional of the Fall Split in the 2021-2022 season. Faze take home the dub, taking down Gen.G by a scoreline of 4-1. First Killer looked incredible all day. Sipical was playing amazing. Mist was fitting right in with this roster. Very promising day from Gen.G, but Faze take home the dub. And Wid's got the right idea, because just like last year, they won this first one. They're looking at 9 straight 4th place finishes, okay? That's the NA Fall Open wrapped up for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Absolute banger of a first event. NA is looking really deep, looking really solid. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the recap. We will have APAC and MENA recap up later this week along with EU predictions. But until then, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.